Seems like everywhere you look now, there are entrepreneurs coming out of the woodwork. Side hustle this, buy my that. They are everywhere. But with this popularization of entrepreneurship, there's a slew of hopefuls that are finding themselves discouraged by the one thing that entrepreneurs are defined by. Welcome to the channel today. I hope you are doing really well. If it's your first time on the channel, an extra special welcome to you. And if you do want to become an entrepreneur that is good at building businesses, that frees yourself up to do things of impact and actually creates products and businesses that impact the world, then I'd encourage you to subscribe to the channel because that's the journey I'm on and that's the journey I'd love you to join me on too. And also, if you're someone who is looking to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, just a reminder, we have got network nights coming up. Amazon Masters network nights are coming to a city near you. If you're in the UK in the coming months, check out the link, which is in the description below, for all of the information about that. I am pumped to meet a bunch of you face to face. That's going to be amazing. That's cocktails and canapes kind of style. Ticket price is just covering the cost of the food. It's very cheap. Nothing being sold. No profit being made. We'll probably make a loss on these events, but we just want to connect with people and build this community that we're really, really passionate about. So check that out below. But if you are an entrepreneur, I want to talk to you today about the one thing that really defines you as an entrepreneur. It's one thing that everyone who wants to be an entrepreneur has to wrestle with. They have to decide, am I going to be okay with this or am I not? Am I going to overcome this or is this going to overcome me? I see it every day. Now a year into the journey of putting out content that I've been hoping is going to resonate with purposeful entrepreneurs. But having been on this journey, what I've noticed, what I've realized is that there are a lot of people that have been sold a dream. This dream that you can open up your laptop to new money coming in every day with little to no effort whilst you sip a cocktail on the beach of the Copacabana, and this entrepreneurship lifestyle is sheer bliss. You've got people creating entrepreneurship t-shirts to celebrate that this is something that is sexy and trendy, and I suppose it kind of has become a little bit sexy and trendy in recent years, and that's okay. You buy your t-shirt and you wear it with pride as long as you realize that this lifestyle is not one that is defined by bliss. In fact, the very opposite. In fact, the thing that actually defines an entrepreneur that I see so many people struggling with in this community is one thing and one thing alone, and that is problems. Being an entrepreneur by definition is solving problems. Yeah, I see so much people encountering their first problem and freaking out and wanting to give up, forgetting that actually being an entrepreneur by very nature is all about solving problems. And so I wanted to make this today to encourage you who's watching this, that though you may be going through problems, though you absolutely 100% guaranteed will face problems in your entrepreneurial journey, it's your ability to actually overcome those problems that makes you an entrepreneur. You see, if you're building products, if you're selling products as an entrepreneur, if those products don't solve a problem, then really you're not an entrepreneur. You're just someone that's copying what someone else has done and repeating the same old stuff that doesn't really solve a problem, and it's not going to last. But on the contrary, if you are someone who can look into a market, who can look at a problem and realize that there is an opportunity to solve that problem and then deliver a product that does go some way at least to solving that problem, then there's a good chance then you're going to make it as an entrepreneur. There are countless examples now of businesses all over the world that have become the businesses they are today because there were entrepreneurs at the heart of the business who had a passion for overcoming problems. I mean, take Uber, for example. Uber, or as they were known in 2009 when they started, Uber Cab, within just a few short months of launching, they were issued a cease and desist letter and were forced to rebrand as Uber. They had to drop the cab, they would just become Uber, and then of course the rest is history. Well, no, not really, because then they would face so many more problems. If you followed the journey of Uber in any way over recent years, you will know that they have had to deal with problem after problem after problem. allegation after allegation after allegation. They've had funding deals go through. They've had lawsuits against them. They have had to deal with every kind of problem you can imagine. And now I know Uber aren't everyone's cup of tea, as we say here in the UK, and not everyone's going to like them and like their business practices, but what they have shown an ability to look in the face of the problems they were facing and say, you know what, this is not going to be what stops us or defines us negatively, but it actually will be what defines us positively, because we will overcome these things. How about IBM, over 100 years old and an industry leader, yet in the early 1990s almost brought to its knees to the point of almost being insolvent because of the change in the marketplace, because of this problem that evolved in the form of personal computers. It was a completely different trend. It was something that IBM weren't involved in the early 1990s, but they had this problem to overcome as the market moved one way and their business was going in another direction. They had a problem to solve in the form of an $8 billion a year loss at that point in time. But they had to decide, is this problem going to be something that ends us or defines us? And of course they chose for it to be something that defined them. But I wonder about you and the problems that you face, because I see it all too often, especially in the Amazon community, is that problems actually end people's entrepreneurship journey rather than define them. And that's okay for some, because some people just aren't made to be entrepreneurs. The idea of facing problems stresses you out too much and you don't think that that's something you can do. And that's okay, because not everybody was meant to be an entrepreneur. But being an entrepreneur is something you want to pursue. If you feel like it is something for you, what you've got to realize is that you're going to face problems. And when those problems continue to arise for you, because I hate to tell you that they're going to continue, I thought, when I first started this journey, the first problems I faced would be the hardest ones and it would only get easier from there. But there are more challenges and there are bigger problems coming your way, and you may as well get used to it. Heck, we're in the middle of one right now with this coronavirus outbreak all over the world. We're facing problems as entrepreneurs, and you can either allow it to end you or define you. And so it's decision time, right? You're going to face problems like Uber, like IBM. I mean, we could go through a ton of different examples, like Apple, who had to get over the death of Steve Jobs, like Walt Disney, who was told he wasn't creative enough at the age of 22 and was fired, and Airbnb, who couldn't even get any investors in their early phase, but now are $1 billion company, right? There are so many different examples we could go through, and in each case, there were entrepreneurs who said, you know what, problems aren't going to be what ends us, they're going to be what define us. And it's our ability to overcome those problems that's going to create the business that we dream of. By definition, entrepreneurs solve problems. So if you're facing problems, welcome to the party, pal. Welcome to the party, pal. It's time to solve some problems. Just take a look at the Fire Festival for an example of an entrepreneur who isn't really an entrepreneur because they're not solving a problem, they're just trying to make money. Please don't be the kind of person that just goes down this journey just to make money. Honestly, it's an empty pursuit. It will leave you actually making less money than trying to build a business of real value and substance, and it's going to leave a real sense of hollow on the inside. Instead, be someone that says, you know what, I'm going to solve real problems for real people, and I'm going to have a real good time doing it. I'm going to embrace the journey, and I'm going to make a great income along the way. Because the reality is, if you solve problems for people, you will always be able to make money. So you know what? In my life, I've made a decision. I'm not going after the money. I'm going after solving problems. I'm not going after the money. I'm going after providing value. I'm not going after the money alone. I'm going after building something that's going to make a difference, that's going to create substance. And of course, along with that, there is going to come some income. So I'd love to invite you on that journey as well, to be an entrepreneur that looks in the face of problems and says, problem, you won't end me, you will define me. Listen, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur and build a successful business, then you need to build successful products that solve real problems for real people. You need to learn to run to problems rather than from problems. And now if you want to learn how to create products that do actually solve problems for consumers and don't just copy and paste what everyone else is doing, then I've created a free training series for you called the Brand Builder Bootcamp. It's completely free, no credit card required, and you can find the link for that in the description below. Speaking of good products, I recently created this video here, and I really think you'll enjoy it because it talks about how there's always room for the best. Even in the midst of saturated and competitive markets, create something great and that will stand out. If you you haven't already, consider subscribing. And if you did like this video, hit that thumbs up to let me know, and I'll see you in the next video real soon.